Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this real quick. I have to preface this story because you guys see that. Let me back that picture up just for a moment. If you guys can see that picture, that is the aftermath of just a mangled mess of a car accident that happened. And unfortunately, we do have bad news to report. But I'm gonna tell you guys, I just don't have a lot of love for people who drink and drive. And I know people out there might have family or friends, or maybe you have been personally affected by somebody who made a horrible decision to drink and drive. But this particular incident took a cluster of lives. It ruined a marriage, ruined a family, and hurt a number of children. Not only that, but the individual that y'all see on my screen right there, I don't know what this dude looked like. Like he looks like Suge Knight's bodyguard or something. I don't really know how to describe what he looks like. But nonetheless, this is the individual that they caught and they're going to hold accountable for this. Now, this happened in a place called Spring, Texas, which is just north. It's kind of north of Houston. So it's not far from Houston at all. Okay. A man accused of intoxication manslaughter in connection with a Northwest Harris County crash that killed a mother and her three children, four people in total. He appeared in court Wednesday. That fool that y'all see right there, and I don't know what that thing is on the top of his head, whether that dude looked like they dropped him on his head like in a brick wall or something. I don't know what the hell happened to the top of his head. But nonetheless, that individual's name is Daniel Canada. Daniel Canada. I know we have some people that listen in Canada, and I don't mean any disrespect. let me not do it. Let me not do it. Anyway, Daniel Canada, 35 years old, was driving on FM 2920 near Gosling in Springs on Sunday night when he slammed into the back of a car driven by this man's wife, and her name is Portia Branch. Let me get Portia Branch's face on the screen. This woman right here. And I'm going to tell y'all, I know this really hurts the husband. I know this really hurts the husband because this man lost his wife for absolutely no reason at all. She is a wife and a mother of at least three children. I know she had three children in the car with her, but her name is Portia Lachey Branch. Portia Lachey Branch. Branch and her 7-month-old baby died in the car crash. Branch's 2-year-old and 5-year-old later died at a hospital because of this crash. Now, Canada was taken to the hospital with bumps and bruises. So the drunk man was taken to the hospital. He's perfectly fine. Isn't that the way it always goes? The person that should have passed away that shouldn't be here never does. It's always the innocent ones. The impact of the crash caused Branch's car to be pushed into a vehicle that was in front of her, ultimately causing a 7-vehicle pileup, and her car went into flames. That is awful. And I know it might be difficult for some of you guys to hear those details, but let me remind you, all we have to do is listen to the story. We just have to hear the story. There is nothing worse than us listening to the story than what those babies and that mother actually had to live through. The least we can do is hear their story. This man was driving so fast that he caused a 7, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7-car pileup. Keep in mind that these vehicles weigh thousands of pounds. And they were moved by one vehicle. And that man who caused it was able to walk away with bruises and scratches. That's drunk driving. Hashtag, where is MAD when you need them? hashtag MAADD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. This should definitely be a situation where they should be out protesting against this and make sure that that man never gets an opportunity to get out of prison. That's absolutely ridiculous. But wait till I give y'all guys some more details. This might really, really piss y'all off. Y'all want to know something? This car accident almost didn't happen. That's what makes this even more heart-wrenching. That mother, her 3 babies, would have been at home with her husband. This car accident almost didn't even happen. Just the wildest twist of fate. The worst twist of fate ever. Let me give y'all some more details. Investigators determined the cause of the accident, and the district attorney's office has accepted 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 1 count of intoxication assault against Canada. Canada appeared in the 337th District Court Wednesday morning, where he was assigned a court-appointed attorney because apparently Mr. Drunk Ass didn't have money for a private attorney, so he took on the public pretender. Public defender. Another hearing to determine is bond and will be set for Friday, March the 19th, which is actually tomorrow. But as of now, he remains in jail. This is a tragedy. This is a situation of, again, a possible impaired driver who basically snuffs a family out of existence. This is according to Herman, and he said this earlier in the week. We at Precinct 4 will do everything we can investigatively to prosecute this individual and hold him accountable. Now, Herman added that Canada had a blood alcohol level of 0.15 at the time of the crash, which is nearly twice the legal limit in Texas. So that actually will prove that he was intoxicated. He was drunk. Driving impaired is 100% preventable. Don't do it, he warned. It's a choice. A few others involved in the crash also sustained minor injuries. Later Monday, the Harris County Sheriff's Office said that a deputy actually stopped Canada's vehicle for speeding just after 8 p.m. that evening. If you guys are listening to my stream, do me a favor and please click that thumbs up if you will help share this stream. Try to get us to 600 thumbs up. I think we could do it if we do it together and come together and just click that thumbs up. It'll help share this stream and let more people know that we're live, because I really do want more people to hear this very tragic story so we can share this type of information together, okay? Please click that thumbs up if you haven't already done so. I'm going to read that part again. It'll help share this stream and let more people know that we're live. They said the Harris County Sheriff's Office said a deputy actually stopped Canada's vehicle for speeding just after 8 p.m. that evening. The deputy had the driver exit the vehicle and he briefly detained him. The driver told the deputy he had a small amount of marijuana in the vehicle, which the deputy took into evidence. And that's according to the sheriff's office. Hashtag not my words. Despite that stop, the sheriff's office said that Canada displayed no outward signs of impairment. He didn't display any signs of him being drunk and was released from custody. HCSO went on to say the stop is being investigated internally to determine whether the policies were followed. Now, I have to give a little bit of a shout out, and I hope you guys don't mind. I normally don't do this, but I do have to shout out my friend, and I have to credit my friend because my friend brought this to my attention. So, Princella, if you're out there listening, my friend, I thank you for this. So I got a chance to talk to her. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I did talk to her tonight. And here's what we talked about. It doesn't seem that the police can win either way it goes. I want y'all to think about this for a moment. So let me get Mr. Canada's picture back up on the screen. This guy, that's a black man, right? Yes. That's an unarmed black man, right? Yes. This man was pulled over by the police, right? Yes. We have those three things. Those three things are facts. Here's where things in our society, and this is where the finger has to be pointed at society. I know it's not us here at the AFC. The people who listen to my channel, we ain't got to worry about this because we cut it down the middle. We are fair. We are black and white over here, literally and figuratively. But nonetheless, we cut things down the middle and we are very fair here. The problem with society and the problem with people like Black Lives Matter as a whole, not all, because I know some good people in Black Lives Matter. The problem is whenever you feel like the police do a little too much, a little too harsh, don't do their jobs properly, are too harsh to black men, because this problem mainly is about black men and the police, right? Let's get that clear. The Black Lives Matter movement is built off of the backs of black men. Black men like him, black men like me. The bad stuff that happens to us. And only, well, not only us, but yeah, when it comes to Black Lives Matter, yeah, it's built off of us, only us, okay? Because I know it's a lot of Latino people out there that are getting abused by the police, huh? It's a lot of white people out there getting misused and abused by the police, yes. It's a lot of Middle Eastern people getting abused by the police. It's a lot of Asian people getting abused by the police. A lot of people and a lot of communities are affected by bad police work. And it's not all police. They are not all bad. I can guarantee you that. I know quite a few of them. I've ran into quite a few of them. I've been pulled over by quite a few of them. They are not all bad. Only the bad ones are bad, okay? We need to stop doing stuff like talking about defunding the police when we're not talking about defunding drug dealers, defunding thugs, and defunding thugettes, huh? We need to stop with that. We don't need to defund the police. We need to make sure that the police are doing their job to the best of their ability, and they need to be compensated as such. So if you want a better quality, you need to invest in that product, yes? That's the way it works with pretty much anything. If you want a good result, you invest in that product, including your public servants. But let me go back to what I was saying. If the police would have arrested this man for his little bit of weed and his intoxication, then all Black Lives Matter would have been all up in arms. And then it would have been like, well, I thought weed was legal and this and that. He's got his medical card and this black man almost got shot by the police and they was harassing him and blah, 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 right? But instead of them potentially arresting that man when they probably should have and getting in a whole heap of social trouble, again, social trouble, not legal trouble, social trouble, the social justice warriors. Instead of them getting in trouble that way, when they say, you know what, we're going to make a judgment call here, maybe this black man didn't do anything wrong. Let me take a sip of my Simply lemonade drink really quick. I need to take a sip for that. I don't know if y'all heard what I just said. Just like Nikki said, you get what you pay for. Just like when you go to McDonald's and you buy that $1 McDouble, you get what you pay for. You pay crap prices, you're going to end up eating crap. So when they arrest this man, they're racist, but when they let him go, what does the black man do? Oh, kill a whole freaking family. I'm trying to mind my language. He goes off and kills an entire family because he was drunk. Damn. I want y'all to think about that for a moment. I'm not putting any speculation on the police. I'm gonna say that the police did their job to the best of their ability. I'm not gonna put this on the police because it was his fault and he killed somebody, not the police. It's not the police's job to make sure you don't drink and drive and make sure that you're irresponsible. It's your job to make sure that you don't go out and go kill somebody, huh? It's your responsibility. It's not society's responsibility. It's not the police's responsibility. But somehow the police are going to take all the blame for this. If you arrest them, you take all the blame. You get drugged through the media and potentially sued and potentially defunded. But if you let this man go, now they're going to drag you all through the media. Why do y'all even how do we even have police that even want to do a job anymore? When you can't win for losing and you can't lose for winning. It's a lose-lose. If you win, you lose. If you lose, you lose. Does anybody understand where I'm coming from? Look, maybe I need to just turn the damn stream off. Do I need to just turn this screen off? I just need to hit that exit button in the top right corner. Maybe I'm just not making any sense to anybody on earth. I don't think that makes any sense to anybody, right? They let the man go. And just a short time later, this man runs into a woman so hard from behind that she not only hits the car in front of her, but that car hits 6 other cars. Do y'all know how hard of an impact, how fast he had to have been going in order to cause that level of damage? Seven-car pileup. But HCSO is going to be investigated internally to determine whether their policies were followed, and I hope they were. A candlelit vigil was being planned for this weekend in memory of Branch and her children. Details were still being finalized. Let's talk about another thing that I know is going to be like pouring alcohol on some open wounds. I know the husband, the father, is not going to like me saying these next two things. Please click the thumbs up if y'all are listening, because you might not click it after this. Please click the thumbs up, okay? I'll show you guys something. I want y'all to take a look at this. This is called a GoFundMe. This is crowdfunding, which most of you guys know that people have deemed me to be the GoFundMe police, because you have 4 individuals, 4 people, the mother and 3 children, who apparently don't have life insurance. The reason I bring that up is for this reason. I had somebody write on my comment section and they said, how do you know that they don't have life insurance? Uh-oh, hold on. Somebody asked me, how do I know that they don't have life insurance pertaining to other stories? And I said, then why are they asking for burial money if they have life insurance? Because that's actually what life insurance is supposed to cover. Am I right or am I wrong? Life insurance is supposed to cover the death of a human. So if you're asking for GoFundMe money to bury somebody, then that would signify that you don't have burial money because you don't have life insurance. And if you have life insurance, then you would use those policies in order to bury these family members. But nonetheless, we continue to neglect having life insurance. The mother didn't even have life insurance. I know people make it seem like, well, the kids were too young for life insurance. No, that's actually not true. And it's actually very cheap if you go to gerberlife.com and get some freaking life insurance. We all should be taking care of our own burials, first and foremost. Crowdfunding should be for fun things, entertainment. GoFundMe going to China to go, I don't know, go eat, I don't know, go eat some puffer fish or something. GoFundMe was never meant to supplement life insurance. And there's too many people that are taking advantage of it. Now, with this particular situation, they asked for $25,000, and I hope I made my case clear on that. I hope nobody gets mad about what I said. $25,000. They've raised almost $40,000, so they will have quite a bit in the GoFundMe to have a burial service. But again, no life insurance. I want to show you guys something else, and this is where I think the husband is probably going to hate my guts. But I have to be honest, because that's just what DJ Just J does. Okay? Let me show you guys something. Where's it at? Yeah, hold on. Where is it at? It's up here on the screen. Let me see if I can find it this way. I could be wrong, but I think that woman right there, the mother, looks like this person. The mother looks like, I could be totally wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will retract this. I swear on my word, I will retract this if I'm wrong. The mother, whose name, let me see if I can get her name up here again. The mother's name is Portia Branch. Portia Branch. Let me show you guys something. This woman's name that is on my screen, her name is Portia Lachey Branch. What does that picture look like to you guys? Can anybody take a guess? I know we're live, so I'll give you a moment if you need to take a moment to respond to my question. What type of photo is this? Would you guys like to take a guess? If you ask me, I think that's the same person. Now, the reason I bring that up is because when I was looking up the mother's information as far as to Google search her name to find out more about this story, to find out who she was and who she was married to, and I did find her husband's interview, and I will play that here in a moment. But I want y'all to remember that Spring, Texas is very close to Houston, Texas. That individual that you see on my screen, who goes by the name of Portia Branch, was charged with robbery. Let me explain. I accidentally found this. A Houston woman who was caught, and I'm going to tell y'all where I got this from. It's on the news website khou.com if y'all want to look it up. Matter of fact, I could show y'all on the screen. I don't know if they might delete this. I don't know. But let me show y'all. Because they sure might delete this. So I can show y'all exactly what I'm looking at. Can y'all see this? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. It's about as big as I can make it. A Houston woman who was caught stealing attacked a store employee and tried to run him over with her car during a getaway attempt, according to the Houston police. Portia Lachey Branch was charged with robbery. A loss prevention officer at a Phallus Paradise store observed Branch stuffing merchandise into her purse on September the 15th. The officer followed Branch outside to the parking lot, and as she reached into her car, grabbed a bag and grabbed her bag and asked her to come back in and return the stolen goods. That's when Branch got upset and tried to run the officer over, according to police. The officer jumped out of Dodge and onto a sidewalk, but he still had Branch's bag. She tried to run him over again. I repeat, she tried to run him over again, got out of her vehicle, and began attacking him, trying to get her purse back. When she couldn't, she got back into the car and fled the scene. The Houston Police Department, which is HPD right here, was called to the scene, and an arrest warrant was issued following an investigation.
I have always had a passion for doing things with my hands, but there is no...
That person, is that the same woman? I am not 100% positive, but I do think it's ironic how that woman was arrested in Houston. The mother who passed away, which is this woman, was in Spring, Texas, which is just north of Houston. This woman tried to run a human being over with her car over some stolen goods. All while this person was hit by a drunk driver and killed with his car. What am I saying? I'm not saying anything at all. All I'm saying is that I accidentally found that information just trying to find a picture of what the mom looked like. But let me say this, because I know a lot of people are going to be pissed off about what I just said, including that man who was her husband. And I mean no disrespect, because I know he loved his wife. And let me tell you guys this. From a person like me, who has not lived a reputable life, who has done some bad things in life, who has spent the majority of his life trying to make up for the bad things that I have done, I do believe in redemption. Can somebody please put that in the chat? I do believe in redemption. If you have done bad, if you have breath in your body, you can make up for it in some shape, form, or fashion. That mother, the same one who might have been in connection with that robbery, could have possibly have changed her life to the point of where this man saw something awesome in her, decided to marry her, and have children by his wife. I do believe that that mother turned her life around. And I still do believe that there's a very sad thing that happened to this woman behind this fool's actions. What he did is inexcusable, and what he did deserves the ultimate penalty under law. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and let me let y'all absorb that for a moment. I know it was a lot. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I think I need to turn a fan on. It's gotten really hot in here. Woo, sheesh. Tiffany A. Love said, did I get your donation? Kydra, if you were listening, I did get yours. Thank you, Kydra, in Cash App. Thank you to, let me see. Tiffany, where did you send it? You said in PayPal? What name did you send it under Tiffany? I might have missed it. Let me see. If you did send it, Tiffany, I might not see your name in there. So let me know. You don't have to give the full name. Just give me the first name and I can tell you if I got it. Let me say thank you real quick to an amazing, amazing person in the chat. Her name is Leanne Engel. It said, unable to watch, getting off my 96-hour work week. My goodness. Wow. But letting you know I appreciate all the work that you're doing. Let me tell y'all, what Leanne Engel sends me is priceless. And Leanne, if you're listening, I want to say thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much. Tiffany, thank you as well. Thank you also to Kydra, Paula, Jimmy D, Tina, Dominique. Anybody else, if y'all donated, I'll read them here in a minute. Patricia, let's go ahead and show y'all these news videos. All right, here we go.
Oh my God, this is so hard for me.
It is truly a gut-wrenching pain like no other.
I'm about to bury my daughter and my 3 grandbabies.
What started as an exciting weekend for the Branch family ended in tragedy. Moving into a big new home, Rhonda Branch looked forward to planning rooms for all of her grandbabies. Her daughter Portia was helping with the move. Sunday night, they were doing one more run. Rhonda drove a U-Haul truck, 2 of her daughter's kids inside. Her daughter drove the other car with 3 of her youngest kids inside.
And I said, okay, we right behind you.
Portia was ahead by just a few minutes. Her mom eventually caught up.
We was coming up on Gosselin Street. I was like, oh, something happened, something. I said, oh, something on fire. And I never knew that it was my baby.
Inside the car, Portia and 7-month-old Drake died in the flames after a suspected drunk driver slammed into her.
And I seen my grandson's shoe. I had just put them on him before he left.
At the hospital, 2-year-old Messiah and 5-year-old King also died. Meanwhile, Daniel Canada, the man who police say was drunk and caused the crash, walked away with scratches and bruises. Moments before the crash, he was pulled over for speeding. The Harris County deputy confiscated marijuana, then let him go. The sheriff's department says the deputy did not sense he was drunk.
He took my baby life and my grandbaby's life away from us. All because he wanted to drive drunk. And I felt like the first time he got pulled over, they should have just took him in.
And maybe then she would still have her daughter and her grandbabies.
And I just love y'all, and I'm gonna miss y'all so much. Oh, Lord, it hurt me.
I'm Svania Coley, ABC 13 Eyewitness.
Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, my condolences to you and your family.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now guys, this is her husband. This is the mother and the children's dad, and this is the husband. They had those children inside of marriage. Just so y'all know, that's the husband. So I want y'all to hear what he has to say, and I want y'all to notice how composed he is, because I give him a lot of respect. Let's listen.
Tell me a little bit about Portia. I feel like,
Portia, my wife, she was like one of a kind. She was a down-earth person. She had a wonderful heart, always helpful, a wonderful mother. She get your shirt off her back, sweet. She like all the good things I can say about her, and I'll never forget her.
she the love of your life?
Yeah, she's the love of my life, and it's hard for me to see my wife and 3 of our kids gone of a simple mistake. And for them, I just left the funeral home, and for them to say they still trying to identify her because her body was burnt, and my 7-month-old Drake's son body was burnt, and still trying to identify it. I mean, I thought about a day it'd get easy, but it's like seeming harder and harder each day.
I'm going to let y'all hear that again. I have no idea how he's able to stay so composed. I want y'all to notice, not only did he lose his children, his legacy, his wife, the love of his life, which for a man is really, for all of us, is really hard to find, but I can speak for the brothers, and I know it's really hard to find that one woman that you want to settle down and spend the rest of your life with. And he had to go try to identify the bodies. I don't know how he did it. Wow. When y'all talk about strength This is strength. I want y'all to listen to this. It's not even shock. I don't believe it's shock. I think that's strength. Listen to this.
See my wife and 3 of our kids gone of a simple mistake. And for them, I just left the funeral home. And for them to say they still trying to identify her because her body was burnt and my 7-month-old Drake's son body was burnt, they're still trying to identify it. I mean, I thought about a day it'd get easy, but it's like seeming harder and harder each day.
Okay, man, I was going to ask you, how many kids do you guys have?
We have 6 total. Yes.
And so, how are your kids moving?
I had just explained to my other 3, which is Paris is 8, London is 9, and the money here is 4. I just explained that I had to break the news down to them yesterday, and they didn't take it too well. They're not doing good. They're not taking it too good. And all they keep asking why. And all I can tell them, the chef that stopped him before they had the incident, let him go. And when he let him go, that's when he took my family away from me, my community, not just me, her friend, her family, her mother, her daddy, her aunts, uncles, cousin, all that. And it's sad to see how the car was, to see my son's shoe land in the middle of the street, knowing that I know that was them in that car, and to see the car in flames, like the car was like kind of melted, and to see my kids just on a Messiah, putting up a fight, trying to survive, didn't make it. King died when he got to the hospital. I'll never be the same.
Can I point something out real quick? I want to point something out. I know Tommy is a men's rights advocate, and I love him for that, and I appreciate him for that, because he makes me see things in a lot of situations a lot more different than what I used to, or he confirms a lot of the things that I used to think but didn't actually speak on. But I looked at this, and I don't know if any of you guys noticed what I noticed. How many of you guys noticed that there is not one single person there to hold his hand, to pat him on the back, to hand him a tissue, to crowd around him, to show this husband, father, man, black man, any support? How many of you guys noticed that? And I want y'all to be honest. If you did not notice it, don't write it in the chat. Tell me, hey, I missed it. How many of you guys noticed throughout his interview, there is nobody there to pat him on the back, crowd around him, hug him? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Stay strong. Did anybody notice that? Who did they say is the strongest people in the community? Who is the strongest people in America? But when this brother needs some strength, needs some support, needs some love, who's there to support the man? It reminds me of this thing in Antoine Fisher, which I'm glad I watched Antoine Fisher 2 weeks ago. Do y'all remember his poem? If you haven't, go back and watch that movie. Who will cry for the little boy? The little boy who is me. Who will cry for the little boy? This man who has no support. Just like Antoine Fisher, his entire life needed support, and that boy had to grow up and become a man with no support and no guidance. I just want to point something out, because all I'm doing, I'm not getting on to anybody's case, and I don't want y'all to get mad. I'm just giving y'all a little bit of insight as to what a lot of black men have to go through. It doesn't mean that white men don't go through this, Mexican men don't go through this, Asian men don't go through this, Mexican men don't go through this. I'm sure a lot of men understand what I'm saying, which is why a lot of people watch our channel. We have a diverse audience of people that watch. We do get a lot of ladies support here, and I'm truly grateful for that, which is why I'm trying to speak to my ladies that when we have opportunities to show some support, I definitely want us to try to show our men some support. The same way that y'all support me, I wish his family and his friends would have supported him to at least be there. There's nobody there. Who will cry for the father? Who will cry for the husband? Who will cry for this black man? I know we're a good collective of people here, and I know we would, but it's just really sad that the area of Spring, Texas and Houston, Texas didn't stand up and somebody be out there with that man when he spoke.
You're so strong just by standing here. I mean, I guess you have to be strong for your family.
Yes, ma'am. And I just have Paris and London and money now, and they not taking it well. And in the Herman Hospital, did what they can. They did their best job they can. And I want to thank each and every one of them doctors that tried to proceed on my child and, to bring them back. And all my kids, they just have a barrel that the hospital gave them and just told them, yeah, well, they go, that's their brother and sister, their brother and their brothers and their mama. And all they do keep squeezing the barrel and just keep crying. So, I mean, it's hard.
I was going to ask you, where was your wife coming?
My wife and her mother was actually coming from Buy Right Furniture off of 45, because my mother-in-law just moved to Tomball, West Spring, and my mother-in-law was in the U-Haul truck, and my mother-in-law light was green, and the light had stopped on my wife. It was red, and once her light turned green, the truck came. He ran the light and just took them out and caused 7 more to cause accident.
So your mother-in-law was just for a second.
Yes, and what scared me, I didn't want to believe it, because she called and said, call your wife and tell her to answer the phone. Because I seen her, she was right behind me, and I don't see nothing. I don't see her no more. She said, I know she answered for you, so I said, okay, let me call her. I called her 10 times. And I said, I'm going to give her 30 minutes, because if her phone's dead, she going to hurry up and charge it up. And I waited 10 minutes. I said, nah, this too long. I called her again. So my sister-in-law, which is her name Keisha, my wife's sister, said, my mama crying. I said, what's she crying for? You can tell by the hurts, the phone ended. So when I called my mother-in-law phone, her friend stayed down the street. She said, you need to get here. I flew from Cypress all the way to F529. And it was a sad scene to see just my son's shoe landing in the middle of the street, Messiah and King's shoe landing in the middle. It was sad. But my mother-in-law said when she was going to the house, there were 3 lights. There were 3 lights from her house. She said when she was going and she recognized that my wife, which is her daughter, went behind her. She said she seen some flames in the rearview mirror, and she's like, she didn't answer the phone. Let me U-turn, make sure that ain't her. So when she U-turned, the fire truck and police and the paramedic, they had it all blocked so you can see. So she said when she walked over some more, she seen the shoe. Then the police, she had one of the paramedics say it's a young lady with 3 kids, and they said they not gonna make it. And she said she described it to him, and the police were like, yeah, that's who it is. And they're like, she's like, that's my daughter, because we just come from the furniture store, and then my grandkids in there. And she described what the grandkids had on, and she picked up the shoe, told them the shoe size to what it was, and it's gonna be hard. It ain't gonna be the same without them.
What would you like to see?
And I want to clarify, that's not shock. That's strength. It's not shock, it's strength. Please somebody type that in the chat. The father is not in shock. The father is showing what real strength is. what that man had to witness, to see the scene of the accident, to have to try to identify the bodies, to be at the hospital, and then to be in front of these news people asking very difficult questions, and for him to try to compose himself and explain himself the best that he can. I think he's doing an amazing job. We need to give credit where credit is due. I think this man is doing a very good job just speaking what happened and speaking from his heart. I think he's doing a great job.
I want justice done. I want the driver charged with murder, no bond. I want him to spend the rest of his life in jail.
Straight
Because
up.
what happened, you killed my wife, you caused other cause, and you could have kept going and did this to some more people. So God just used my family as a cover so nobody else won't get hurt. And I just wanted him to suffer like how the pain that me and my family going through.
I guess now, do you hope that people remember your wife and
Yes. Yes, I hope, and I just hope everybody just remember my wife and kids as great, wonderful people. A mother, a wonderful wife, great kids, funny kids, lovable, and joyful kids. And I just ask everybody to just keep me in their prayers.
Following since Sunday night, a mother and 3 children killed in a violent crash in northwest Harris County. The man accused of causing that crash appeared in court today, where he was granted a $200,000 bond. KPRC2's Brittany Jeffers was there for that appearance and has more on his bond conditions.
Family members of the victim were inside of that courtroom today, including the husband and father of the woman killed in that crash, and they were...
I don't know if I heard this incorrectly. Did they say they granted him a bond? I hope I heard that wrong.
Following since Sunday night, a mother and 3 children killed in a violent crash in northwest Harris County. The man accused of causing that crash appeared in court today, where he was granted a $200,000 bond.
How was he granted a bond? He was granted a bond?
KPRC2's Brittany Jeffers was there for that appearance and has more on his bond conditions.
Family members of the victim were inside of that courtroom today, including the husband and father of the woman killed in that crash, and they were visibly and understandably very upset when the suspect was brought into the courtroom. And this is 35-year-old Daniel Canada. He faces 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 1 count of intoxication assault. Now, according to Harris County officials, Canada was drunk with a blood alcohol level of at least 0.15 when he slammed into another car, killing a mother and her 3 children. That fiery crash resulted in a 7-car pileup on Sunday. 28-year-old Portia Branch and her 3 children, ages 7 months, 5, and 2 years old, all died. Now, the judge today set bond at $200,000 for one of...
How does he get a bond? Did they... Somebody's got to explain that to me. Maybe I need to go down there to Spring, Texas, and find out and have them take the book and open it up and show me how you granted him any type of bond when 4 people are dead and many others are injured because of him. How?
Those intoxication manslaughter charges.
What if he had a little money and got out? Do you think he gonna stop drinking and driving?
A hearing is now set for Friday to determine if Canada can be held at no bond or if they will choose to raise the others to meet that at $200,000. Now, as far as bond conditions go, if he is able to post bond, the judge says that he must wear an ankle monitor and will be under house arrest. That means that he will be required to stay at home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC 2.
He'll be required to follow the law. How about that? I want y'all to hear that. Some of y'all might have heard he'll be required to stay at home, wear an ankle monitor. But you have to remember that he was already breaking the law by drinking when he got pulled over the first time. So he really didn't give a shit about the law. The police let him go. They let him go. hoping that nothing else goes wrong. And then what does he do? Full speed ahead, kills 4 people. So clearly he doesn't care about the law at all. And this is what I'm talking about, because now you have blood on your hands. There are babies that are dead. We are the AFC and we advocate for children first. We do advocate for that mother and we advocate for the husband, but the children to us come first. There are dead children, and how at any point, if somebody is held responsible for the murder of children, accused of, believed to have murdered children, should never get a bond. Is that fair? I think it's pretty goddamn fair. Sheesh. What if he had the $20,000 to make his $200,000 bond? What time was he pulled over and what time did the crash occur? I think I might be able to tell you that. Hold on, Lee. Let me see. I'm not sure if they specified. Let me see. Give me a moment, because you asked a very important question. Let me see if I can figure it out. This article was written yesterday. Let's see here. I might have to get back with you on that, Lee. I don't see it in front of my face right now. I do not see it in front of my face right now, so I don't see the time. But I do know that it was shortly after, because they let him go, and he still continued to go wherever the hell he was going at a high rate of speed. So I'm not exactly sure. I can't say. You say you finally subscribed. Thank you very much, and shout out to Wendy. If you guys haven't clicked that thumbs up, our goal tonight is 600 thumbs up. If one of my moderators with the blue wrench can let me know what the number is on the thumbs up, let me know. But if you haven't clicked that thumbs up, please share the stream and let more people know that we're live. We still have one more story, and then I'll let you guys go. I know I've kept y'all for a long time tonight on this one story, okay? Let's keep going.
Local story in Northwest Harris County, a drunk driving crash that killed 4 members of one family. A mother and her 3 children died as the result of a multi-vehicle crash on Sunday. Tonight we are learning more about that young family from a loved one. KPRC2's Devin Clark live with that story. Devin, you are at the Harris County Jail. So let's start there. What are the latest charges against the suspected drunk driver?
Keith, right now, Daniel Canada, the 35-year-old accused in this crime, faces at least 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter. There are other charges as well. But the victim's family in this case tells me that they can't even believe the allegations.
It didn't set in, right away, because you gotta kind of get your mind on that.
For Gladys House L, it's hard to come to terms with knowing that 3 of her grandnephews were killed in a suspected drunk driving crash. The brothers, ages 7 months old, 2 years old, and 5 years old, seen here at a family gathering back in December.
They enjoy having fun. Like when I was racing, we were racing in the street.
The boy's mother, 28-year-old Portia Branch, was also killed after Harris County Precinct 4 constable says 35-year-old Daniel Canada was drunk with a blood alcohol level of at least .15 when he slammed into the family's car, causing it to burst into flames and result in a 7-car pileup. The wreck that happened around 8:30 Sunday night caused the intersection of FM 2920 and Gosling to be shut down for hours.
And then what did she go through? What did my niece go through? Portia, what did she go, in a car trying to get out with the infant, the 7-month-old, and the other children in the car.
Tonight, House L is doing her best to try and stay strong for her family, especially the children's father and her nephew, Damian House.
That's all you can do is just kind of say, hey, I love you, and time will have to cure it, Keep praying and keep showing the love.
Canada sits in the Harris County Jail right behind me with a few bumps and bruises. The victim's family planning their funerals. Reporting live outside the Harris County Jail, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
A 2-year-old has died as a result of a terrible car crash that also killed the toddler's mother and 2 other siblings. According to the Precinct 4 Harris County Constable, the 28-year-old mother was at the intersection of FM 2920 and Gosling Road last night when her car was hit from behind. The constable says her car then collided with 7 other vehicles and caught fire. The mom and her 7-month-old baby died at the scene. Her 5-year-old passed at the hospital later that night, and the 2-year-old just passed away today.
This is a tragedy. It is a situation of again, a possible suspected impaired driver who basically snuffs a family out of existence.
The man accused of causing this crash has been identified as Daniel Canada. He is facing.
Well, right now, a family is in mourning and a man is in custody charged with causing this deadly 7-car crash you see behind me there. The story is heartbreaking and it's raising questions about how the man was on the road in the first place. Our Michelle Choi explains.
Hey guys, this morning there's a growing memorial for that family and a growing number of questions about why that driver was still behind the wheel when the wreck happened. Teddy bears, flowers, and words of condolence mark the spot of this tragedy on FM 2920. Harris County Precinct 4 Constable Mark Herman says the driver, 35-year-old suspect Daniel Canada, slammed into the back of the family's car around 8:30 Sunday night, starting a chain reaction crash involving at least 7 cars. A mom and 3 kids died, and Precinct 4 says that driver, seen here from a previous arrest, is now charged with multiple counts of intoxication manslaughter.
A possible suspected impaired driver who basically snuffs a family out of existence.
We've learned Canada was pulled over along this stretch of the North Freeway after passing a Harris County Sheriff's deputy at a high rate of speed less than 30 minutes before the crash, not far from the wreck. The constable's office says Canada's blood alcohol level was 0.15 after the fatal crash, nearly twice the legal limit. But according to a statement, quote, the deputy reported that the driver displayed no outward signs of impairment and was released from custody. The Sheriff's Office's Internal Affair Bureau is also looking into the traffic stop to determine whether deputies follow policy.
All right, I'm going to try to skip through these videos. There's 3 more, but I need to skip through these. And I'm going to give y'all my closing thoughts. There's one more story I want to talk about real quick, okay?
Us, a 28-year-old mother.
Following for days where police say a man was driving.
Children inside were killed. With 1 count of intoxicated assault with seriously bodily injury and 3 counts of intoxicated manslaughter. But those could be upgraded. Officials say Canada slammed into a car on FM 2920 and Gosling Sunday night, causing it to burst into flames and crash into 6 other cars.
The suspect accused in Sunday's crash that killed a mother and her 3 young children is out of the hospital and behind bars. And new tonight, the father who lost his wife and kids in this horrific crash is talking about his immense loss and pain. Anayeli Ruiz is live with the latest on this tragic story. Anayeli?
Hey, Mia. Well, the entire family is just heartbroken and shocked. But we did speak with the father, Damian House, and he tells us that he can't believe he's now planning a funeral for his wife and 3 kids.
It's hard for me to see my wife and 3 of our kids gone.
Damian House says this all still feels unreal. He showed us the last picture his wife took Sunday before she left the house. He says he never imagined this would be the last picture he would have of her. See, Sunday, his wife, Portia Branch, was coming back from a furniture store. He says Portia was following his mother-in-law, who was moving in a U-Haul. His wife was stopped at the light off of 2920 and Gosling Road, and his mother-in-law kept driving. He says his wife was hit from behind by another driver. Portia was pronounced dead at the scene, along with their 7-month-old baby, Drake. His 5-year-old son, King, and 2-year-old son, Messiah, were taken to the hospital where they later died.
It's sad to see how the car was, to see my son's shoe laying in the middle of the street, knowing that I know that was them in that car. And to see the car in flames, like the car was like kind of melted.
Damian says it's been very tough on everyone, especially their 3 other kids who were not with their mother during the accident.
And I had to break the news down to them yesterday, and they didn't take it too well. They're not doing good. They're not taking it too good. And all they keep asking, why?
Wow. Let me give y'all my closing thoughts about this. First of all, shout out to that father. I didn't realize that they had more kids, but he had to tell his older kids what happened to their baby siblings. Golly, man, I hate that, man. I hate that. My closing thoughts about this is this. Drunk drivers ain't shit. How about that? That dude right there should not even be able to know that he got a bond at all. He should have never been able to sniff a bond. Even if he can't afford a $200,000 bond at $20,000 cash bond from a bail bondsman, he should have never even been granted a bond. Drunk drivers should have no bond. Why should they get one? Especially when you murder. You just got pulled over by the police. And you murder a mother and her 3 children. You take away 3 children and a wife from a husband and a father. For what? And then I want y'all to think about this. She hit 6 other cars because he ran into her that hard, and he could have potentially killed a lot more people. What if those other people that were hit, what if they died? How many more people would have died because of that fool? Should have never got a bond. And let me say this, and I hope that they protect the police, and I hope people don't get on to the police. First of all, if they arrest that man for having weed and being drunk, they would have gotten in trouble for that. But if they had arrested him, he would have never made it to be able to go murder this mother and the kids. But they let him go because they're just like, hey, did he do something wrong? We're not sure. And they did the morally right thing and let that black man go. The police can't do their jobs properly like this. They do nothing, we get on to them. They do something, we get on to them. They try to be in the middle, we get on to them. They say, you know what, we quit, we get on to them. What do y'all want the police to do? This is not the police's fault. It's his fault. If y'all have all of that vitriol and all of that energy, take it out on that guy. Look into his eyes. Look at that big messed up crap on the top of his head and blame it on him. It's his fault that everybody is dead and everybody got hit and those kids and that mother got burnt up in that car the way that they did and caused that father and husband anguish. It was his fault. Courts need to do their job. Give him no bond. Give him life in prison. Give him a swift sentence. Get his ass out of here. To those souls, R.I.P. to that mother and those 3 children. And let's put a prayer hands up for that father, that strong father who even in the midst of this still has to live through that tragedy and be strong for his other children. So prayer hands for them. I'm DJ Just Jay with the AFC, where we put the children as our #1 priority. Make sure you hit the like up, hit the thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, okay? Thank you very much. Guys, I have one more story that I want to tell real quick, and I did get in touch with this family, and I want to say thank you to the family of Samaya Christian Downing. If you're listening right now, I want to say thank you to the family. They did respond. I wasn't sure because I do the best I can to try to send the link out so everybody will know what I'm talking about, especially the family members. So I don't know if y'all knew I actually do that, but I do the best I can to try to make sure people do have an opportunity if there's something they need to say or if they need to correct me or if they want to. Oh, I forgot I don't have any videos on this. So there aren't going to be any news videos on this. This is going to be just straight commentary. So for those who came for the news, I want to remind you guys, this is not a news station. You should be here to hear what my thoughts and opinions are on this story, okay? Did I get the super chat? Yes, I did. Where is it at? Yes, I did. So Sherry, excuse me, let me put some respect on your name. Shelly Osler sent in a $5 super chat, said he should have gotten no bond, and I agree with you, and I want to say thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Let me also welcome Peggy Vilsaint. Welcome to the AFC chat. I see you in there. Leanne Engel says, should be first-degree murder. It's premeditated when you get in a car knowing that you're drunk. Shame on Texas giving him that bond. I agree. And thank you for your $20 super chat. I 100% agree. Watch. The man who lost his family will sue the police department and win. Please don't delete those comments. I'm assuming that was an accident. But you're actually right about that. So highly protected, you are 100% right. They probably will sue the police department. I don't think they should, but I think they will. The police didn't do anything wrong. Let's talk about this baby that y'all see on my screen. Right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do the best I can to try to compose myself with this story. I want to try to speak with much respect and love as possible because this story rocked me to my core because y'all know I'm a father and I'm a father of a girl, my daughter, and shout out to my daughter. I love her so much. As a father, I vividly remember my daughter being this little girl's age, and I'm going to tell you guys, it might be difficult for a lot of people to listen to these stories, but I want to remind you, there is nothing more difficult than what we listen to compared to what these children actually have to live through. We can listen to First 48. We can listen to all of these TV shows. The least we can do is listen to this little baby's story and her having to live through hell on earth. Listen to this baby's story. Let me see if I can get their face up on the screen real quick. Both of them. I need both of them up here. The two individuals that you see on the left and the far right on my screen named Bianca, no. Yes, Bianca Annie Mae Stanch and Ronald Dean Greer were found guilty of first-degree murder for the death of Greer's 4-year-old daughter by the name of Samaya Christine Cornell Downing, who is the little baby that y'all see right there on my screen. That little girl right there in the middle. Additionally, they were found guilty of torturing Samaya and guilty of child abuse with a special allegation of causing death to that little girl. Stanch and Greer were sentenced. Let me see if I can get their sentence up here. Let me see if I can find out how many years they were sentenced. I normally have this pulled up. Y'all bear with me just a moment. Ronald Dean Greer, 29 years old, and his girlfriend, Bianca Annie Mae Stanch, 27 years old, were sentenced Friday to serve 32 years in prison, 32 years to life in prison for murder. Stanch's cousin by the name of Rayshawn Larry Stanch pleaded guilty earlier this year to his own participation in this crime. Now, here's the part where I'm going to tell you guys about what this baby had to live through. So I hope you got your composure together. So here we go. And let me say thank you real quick if you're listening. Let me see. So this is the grandfather. So if the grandfather is listening, I'll respond to you after I get finished here. But if you need anything, you can type in the chat or you can inbox me here and we'll talk about that, okay? Now, the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office said that the case started back in 2012 when Samaya lived with Greer and Stanch in an apartment in Antelanto. Stanch was Greer's girlfriend, but not the mother of Samaya. According to witnesses, Stanch had an extreme dislike for Samaya and treated her poorly. Listen at this. Witnesses testified that the little girl Samaya, where y'all see right there on my screen, was subjected to daily beatings at the hands of Bianca Stanch. Greer did not intervene in any way to stop these beatings. Both Stanch and Greer also routinely used a denial of water as a form of punishment. Witnesses also testified that Stanchion Greer duct taped Samaya's wrists and ankles together on multiple occasions and left her overnight so that she could not get out to get water. The defendants had placed a deadbolt on the bedroom door with a locking mechanism on the hallway side of the door, which allowed them to lock Samaya in the room so she could not get out during the day or night. On one occasion, Samaya was able to get out to the kitchen where she drank the only liquid that she could find, which was a cleaning solution. I'm going to read that again. She was able to get out of being locked inside this room. This baby was able to get her way out. Her little body was thirsty. She needed something, anything to drink. And the baby drank the only liquid that she could find, which was a cleaning solution. Evidence at the trial showed that Samaya was beaten and forced to stand in the corner for 8 hours on the day before her death. The abuse continued the next day when Stanch beat Samaya all over her body with belts and cords. And I want to remind you guys that I am the main person all over the internet that has been telling you guys for the past 3 years, 36 months straight, to not put your hands, feet, or other objects on these children. If you have to spank, if you have to hit, if you have to push, if you have to grab, if you have to yell, if you have to be physical with children in order to get them to go in the direction that you want them to go, or get these children to do what it is that you want them to do, if you have to be physical with them, then you are a horrible parent. You are not fit to be a parent if you can't reason with a child, teach a child, and that child absorb your teachings in a productive way. That takes love, and that takes giving children respect. It takes giving children time, and it takes patience. If you are still spanking your children in 2021, you need to stop. Stop hitting them kids. You can't beat your girlfriend with a belt. You can't beat your husband with a belt. You can't beat anybody. You can't beat any adults with a belt. Why can you beat somebody who can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves? How does that even make any sense? Somebody who's a quarter of your size, you can beat them all day, and we got to debate whether that's okay or not. Like, what kind of shit is that? That's why I've been telling you guys for years to stop. Children and babies are like sponges. You will get out what you put into them. When you beat and spank a child, they don't learn respect. Let me say that again for the people in the back who might not have heard what I just said. When you spank and beat any human being, they do not learn to respect you. You are teaching them to fear you. All they learn is fear. Can children grow up and grow out of that fear and become productive people, yes, they could grow out of the abuse. Yeah, sure. A lot of human beings have been resilient enough, but not everybody is that resilient. And it's a horrible way. It's a Neanderthal method to raise children. Don't talk about, well, that's the way I grew up. Well, you know what? Some of your ancestors grew up in slavery. Do we want to go back to that? We talk about slavery being such a bad thing. But one of the things that they did in slavery, some people, a very small group of people, not all, because the majority of those people back then couldn't afford slaves and did not have slaves to be known. And some black people actually owned slaves, but we'll talk about that at some other time. But they used those whips and beat those people as their property. And if you think about it, we treat children like property, do we not? Can we get a hashtag, babies for benefits? Huh? That's what my shirt represents. We treat these children like property. They are not property. They are our legacy. They are our children. They should be loved and respected. You give them love and respect, and that respect will do what? It will reciprocate. That's something I've been saying for a long time. Respect will reciprocate. Don't demand it, give it. Do not demand it, give it. Okay? Let's move on. Not only did they beat her all over her body with belts and cords, but Stanch then poured a pot of boiling water on Samaya's back and her chest. But I'm sure somebody out there is going to make an excuse for that. So I guess that makes sense in somebody's household to take a pot of boiling water and pour it on a child. This individual and that individual on the far right side, that's what they did. Samaya was also denied water to drink during these final days of her life. On the evening of her death, Samaya began acting lethargic and sleepy. She was locked inside a bedroom within the apartment and was left with Stanch's cousin by the name of Rayshawn Stanch, while Stanch and Greer went to dinner and enjoyed getting fat and full while that baby starved to death. Another bit of very difficult information to hear. Once Stanch and Greer returned to the apartment, they discovered that Samaya had died. Stanch, Greer, and Rayshawn didn't call 911, didn't call the police, didn't administer medical aid. They didn't do CPR. You know what they did? You know what those 3 Negro Musketeers did? They took that baby's dead body out to the desert where she was buried. An autopsy revealed that her cause of death was dehydration. I want y'all to remember that the little girl's body had to have been somewhat resilient, because when she finally was able to force her small, tiny self out of that room and found the only liquid she could find, she drank cleaning solution. And even that didn't kill her. At the time of her death, Samaya's weight placed her in the 5th percentile for her age. Samaya had been in the 50th percentile for her weight just 6 months before her death. Unfortunately, the case encountered several delays in going forward throughout the years. However, the deputy district attorney assigned to getting justice for Samaya stayed committed to the case and did not waver in any manner. So let me give you guys some details about the court case. The trial was set to begin several times over the years, but continued at the defense request over the prosecutor's objections. Finally, the case was set to start trial on March of 2020, but y'all know how that went with COVID, so it got stalled again. As soon as the Superior Court indicated criminal trials would resume in a limited capacity, our office pushed for this case to be given priority to avoid any other delays. The trial included 6 weeks of evidence, and the prosecution called over 20 witnesses in their efforts to achieve justice for Samaya, that baby. Friends, family members, and teachers testified about the sweet and happy little girl that they knew and loved. Greer took the stand in his own defense, and he denied being aware of the abuse his daughter had endured. Several inconsistencies emerged during cross-examination on the events of 2012 and what Greer knew about how Samaya was being treated. We thank the jury for listening to the facts of this case and rendering the correct verdict in this case. Note that Rayshawn Stanch pled guilty earlier this year to his involvement in the crime. If you are aware of abuse of a child, please call 911, but most of us don't need to be told that. We already understand that. You may be their only hope, and you could be saving their life. Like we say, if you see something, say something. If you are a parent or a guardian of a child and experiencing frustration, anger, or helplessness, please reach out for help. A lot of you guys have reached out to me for help, and I've actually tried to guide some people and give them some helpful information. So you can always email me at theafcmatters@gmail.com. There are plenty of resources available which will help you while keeping your children safe from verbal, psychological, and physical abuse. But I do want to remind you guys that when you email me, I'm usually in a limited capacity. If you have witnessed a crime, if you have evidence, you need to call the police, not me. If you have witnessed the crime, have video evidence, photo evidence, or something like that pertaining to a crime, you call the police. You don't email me about a crime, okay? Because if you email me, I'm going to get in touch with the police about it. But for me, my advice is more on a general basis of advice if you're running into some difficulties, and I try to help guide you or at least lead you to a place that can help you. Let me say this. Torturing a child in San Bernardino County will be met with the most vigorous of prosecutions, and those responsible will be held accountable for their actions. When Samaya was murdered, our community was also greatly affected by the actions of her killers. From Samaya's extended family, friends, and teachers, to the law enforcement officers investigating this crime, to everyone in the district attorney's office that had a part in this case, we will always hold Samaya in our memory and in our hearts. 32 years to life in prison. Why not just say life? For that father to try to come out and act like he didn't know what was going on, for your biological child, you should have made it your priority. I don't know why you do anything else. But not only do I think he's lying about that, you would have had to have known about the deadbolt on the door. You would have had to know the condition that your daughter was in. You would have had to know that she was dehydrated, being deprived of being able to eat. Everybody involved in that case should have got life in prison. What is this little girl supposed to do? What are little girls like Samaya supposed to do who cannot speak for themselves, who cannot defend themselves against the tyranny of anybody who's raising them? What are they supposed to do? What we are supposed to do in our society is vote for the right people to be in these judges' seats, to be in these prosecutor seats. You guys have to vote and pick the right people. We have to stand for justice and not settle for anything less. For this case to go this long, let me say this. It should be a damn crime for this case to have been sitting for as long as it has. COVID only started last year. It hadn't been going on this entire time, and that's why all of those delays happened. That was a failure on their part. The court's fault. The prosecutor's fault. The attorney's fault. It was all their fault to allow that much time to go and for y'all not to have resolution way before now. Some justice is good, but us and the AFC, the advocates for children first, we like swift justice, especially when it comes to those who cannot speak for themselves, those who cannot defend themselves, and they depend on us for every single thing that they get. We need swift justice against those who will continue to use children only for the benefits that they can get off of those children. Another thing I want to point out is I don't know what the role of the biological mother was. Where was the mother? It's a great question. I didn't read anything about a biological mother, but it just seemed like everybody that was around this baby failed her. In this case, it was dad's responsibility to make sure that he chose a suitable mate, which he did not, and the dad wasn't very good to his daughter at all and caused her death. And I hope her soul is resting in peace in heaven right now. Like I say, some justice is good, but we got to take a stronger stance and a much quicker stance against people who hurt and harm children. They depend on us for everything that they get. To baby Samaya, young princess, R.I.P. And I'm sorry that justice was delayed. And I don't really think that we did your name much justice, especially for it taking this long. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and maybe we'll never get all the answers, but what we can do is we can make examples out of people like that and get much swifter justice. We cannot allow people who hurt children to go unpunished. Thank you guys so much for listening to Samaya's story, and I hope you guys listen with an open mind and an open heart. And I hope that you guys also listen and absorb my message when it comes to being physical and physically disciplining your children. That needs to stop, and it needs to stop today. If you need tips about how to go about being better with your discipline, with some people, I can't help everybody, but I can definitely try to help some people. But more than anything, we have to make sure and put into children what we want out. If you don't want violence and disrespect, then don't put that into children. Put love into them, put respect into them. Okay? And we pray that they can grow up and become something great. From my heart to yours. I love you guys and thank you guys so much for listening to the AFC podcast with an open mind and an open heart. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, the AFC podcast, where we put children as our #1 priority. Y'all have a great day and have a great night. Peace.